Hey, this is Gale from PaulaGaleNetwork.com, and I am playing some Mortal Kombat 11, specifically the Aftermath portion, in the story mode of the game on Nintendo Switch today. It is October 1st, 2021. I played this game back at launch. I even have a video of it up on my YouTube channel, and I've really enjoyed it for the last couple of years. However, when the DLC came out, I purchased it, played some, and then kind of stopped. So now I'm picking up from where I left off, and I think I'm towards the end of it already. Honestly, the Aftermath DLC is a lot of fun, and from when I started playing, it just grinded through, and here I am, I think close to the end of the game. So I thought, well, let me put up a little bit of a video today and show you, in case you haven't seen it and don't mind the spoilers, what this game's story mode looks like. And I think this is where it really shines. Of course, you have a really solid competitive versus mode in the game, both online and off, so you can enjoy that couch versus like you did back in the day on the SNES or Sega Genesis, or of course previous consoles that had Mortal Kombat games. But the advantage of playing online is definitely great. The game's got a good cast, great DLC, which brought us more characters, but probably the favorite part for me of the game is that story mode, because it's so well, just seamlessly gives us story followed by gameplay. Awesome cutscenes followed by switching up the gameplay to being from another character's perspective. And anyways, here we are. It's towards the end of the game. I don't know who I'm going to play as next. I think the last person I played as was Sindel before pausing it, deciding, hey, I'm going to make a little video. So here we go.
Lead the charge. Go. I'll cover him.
Nice. The game is certainly violent, over the top, but visually stunning at points. I think NetherRealm Studios has mastered this blend of storytelling and gameplay.
Have pitted us against each other. That cycle must end, okay? You will have to kill me. I would rather save you. By the Elder Gods.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what happened right before I started recording. Oof! Brutal. That's pretty cool.
Shao Kahn. He smashed my legs. Shao Kahn.
So there are multiple characters existing of one another in the same timeline, thanks to the events of Chronica, the game's main baddie. Oh wow. Yeah, this is all very much spoiler warnings. The game's not particularly new at this point. Even the Aftermath DLC has been around for a while. It just I kind of took my time in getting to the meat of it.
There's Citadel I remember. No rest for the weary. Hold on to me. The crown. I must wield it against Citadel and Shao Kahn. I will do it. Save your strength for Liu Kang. No, brother. The crown is our burden to share. Thank you. Your lies are revealed, sorcerer.
Interesting.
Shang Tsung. You should be more vigilant, Fuji. Now bear witness. As the power to decide destiny becomes mine.
So one of the cool things is Shang Tsung, the actor from the 90s Mortal Kombat film, lent his voice and visual likeness in this game.
Your endgame, hasn't it? The moment you are trapped in the void, Chronicle was wise to banish me. With this crown, I am her equal. Your evil will not triumph. All too easy. How does it feel, knowing that you will be the last Nightwolf? The Great Spirit will choose another. I may die, but the mantle will live on. Fight!
Now I could probably talk a little more since we're in gameplay and whatnot, but yeah, the game is really solid as a fighting game. Plenty of mechanics to go around. You could have basic fun, or you could really have competitive fun depending on how deep you get into learning the combos, learning the moves, whether or not you can memorize all of the finishing moves. Timing is key, guarding has to be just right. There are also multiple different moves that you could input to different control layouts per character. That's both good and bad. I mean, the good is the variety that your Scorpion or that your Sub-Zero can have, for instance, because they've got different movesets from other Scorpions out there, or what have you. The bad is it might be just a little bit too much, because though the variety is awesome, it also leaves you with that feeling of, oh, I'm not experiencing all of it, unless if you go ahead and have
The mantle dies with you.
multiple Sub-Zeros, multiple Scorpions. So you try out all of the moves and have a few different characters in each slot, which is totally up to you.
And yours.
It's just a lot for the casual gamer, I think, to do so.
You think us unprepared? Your treachery is expected, sorcerer. You are incapable of choosing the righteous path. The path I choose ends with your soul sworn to my service. That future is now undeniable. Fight.
For me, I have a PGN specific profile for every character in the game with his or her own movesets that I tried out and found what best represents my gameplay style and whatnot, my favorite costume. And then I have a basic style, which is the default computer that they provide you with. And even then, I haven't mastered nearly half the roster realistically, because there are quite a few, especially with the DLC. It just became more and more. But I've had a lot of fun with the game. And honestly, I think one of the smart things that they did with the game is really focus so much on telling a story, because they made it so big and approachable that more people bought it as a result. It wasn't just a fighting game that's kind of intimidating for some people to jump into, but it's just a story game. They're not playing around in an adventure or action-like way. No, you are fighting in between, but they're so well crafted in their cinematics. These FMVs are beautiful, you know, CG movie quality in some ways. Great voice acting.
With pleasure. No. Keep them alive. We can siphon their powers for eternity. All the better.
You have several hours worth of story, music, cutscenes, voice acting, awesome action fight choreography going on, mixed in with gameplay and playing as quite a few characters throughout this grand experience. Really worth the price of admission, in my opinion.
Victory is still at hand. We will put down Shang Tsung's defiance, but you will require more assistance. Dearest Cetrion, you have served me admirably. Now there is one final service you must perform. Yes, Mother. I understand.
Mortal Kombat games have always had really good stories. It's just, you know, back in the day, in the arcade original releases and on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, even eventually on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation, you know, you just didn't have nearly as grand of a scope in the storytelling means as you have these days. But really, when they went ahead and did DC Universe versus Mortal Kombat, that was the sign of things to come in their presentation. Of course, MK or Mortal Kombat 9, that really upped
The
it.
hourglass awaits.
Beyond that door, ultimate power.
It will be our privilege to wield it.
Please, allow me.
And I have to give credit to Injustice, MKX, or Mortal Kombat 10, Injustice 2, and then, you know, now leading up to Mortal Kombat 11.
Shang Tsung, pretender to my role. Your strategy has been novel, but in the end, you will not prevail. Finish them!
If you see this game on the eShop, I definitely recommend giving it a go, especially if you find it on sale, which it oftentimes is. Whether or not you fully invest into the Aftermath DLC, that's up to you, but at least the base game, give it a shot. Like I said, worth the price of admission in my opinion. Even if you're a casual fighting game fan, you'll have fun with the story alone. It's terrific. But if you really get deep into the combat of the game, then you're going to have a lot of fun, as it is a very solid fighting game with a still pretty healthy online community.
You are felled, Kronika. Once your power is mine, I will rule eternity.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to betray those two. Just take over everyone, right?
Killing Kronika is my destiny. Yours is to serve me, my obedient subjects, projecting my influence throughout the realms.
You're drunk on the crown's power, Shang Tsung. In your stupor, you forget your place.
He is a dog who betrays his masters. Come, let's put him down.
Fight.
Now you may note that there is a little bit of a transition between the game's CG storytelling visuals and the gameplay, right? And they do it in a pretty clever way mostly, where if you're going from cutscene to gameplay, you see the cutscene in its high fidelity. They get up close or far from a character's face, and then they kind of pan out, and then you see them still finish off their talking segment, but into it, the camera wraps around, and then you're in gameplay. And kind of vice versa. If you're on gameplay mode, which you'll probably see after I finish this, the graphics will go from here to same graphics, the game's real-time engine, to story, where they're still talking but using this engine, and then eventually kind of pan around, work behind the characters, or maybe it'll be a slight up-close face shot, but while they're turning or something like that, and go into what they produce for cutscenes. Let's see if you could find out when it happens. In-game.
My service to you is over.
Probably cut away in a moment. There you go. He walked off screen, and the next time you see him, if you do, there he is, of a higher visual fidelity and polygon count, lighting, shadows. However, it's still really solid. Like, no complaints in the CG. It's terrific. And then the only complaint in the gameplay, in-game graphics engine, kind of comes from when you do realize, the CG in the story does look better, but, you know, judging it by itself, it's solid in terms of gameplay.
Concede, Kronika, while you have time. I'll let you live to serve me in my new era. Or would you prefer to be wiped from history?
Sculpting the sands of time requires great power and skill. You may wear my crown, but you are not a titan.
Fight.
So maybe you saw there, well, once again, it does happen. There's a little bit of a pause, and you can see the difference, you know. It's by all means still solid, not bad. I should note, I do have this game on Xbox One as well, which I mostly played at that point on my Xbox Series X, and, you know, now I'm playing on an Xbox, or I should say, I was playing it on Xbox One X, and now on my Xbox Series X, to go along with the new consoles when they came out last November, shortly after, or actually, yeah, right about the same time, plus or minus a day or two this way, that way. I got my LG CX 65-inch OLED TV, which I'm playing on now. And this OLED TV is really sharp, even though the Nintendo Switch is not a 4K machine. The colors still pop on this TV more than my previous TV, which was a 60-inch LED Vizio. So yeah, I treated myself to Going up 5 inches in screen size. I forgot that doesn't work on her. Went up 5 inches in screen size and went from 1080p to 4K. Went from LED to OLED. It's not gonna work, but oh, it works. Oh yeah, that's right. It won't work on the final boss when you're fighting Chronica, but it will work on the final boss when she transforms into someone else. So that's your advantage. Awesome. Good. Although I'm probably gonna lose this battle because my life is low and my skills are soft. I guess I'll retry. But you know what? I'm not going to spoil the ending of the game. That was kind of more or less the final chapter, a good portion of it. That was 20 minutes, a little bit less because I was talking in the beginning for a bit. But yeah, that's a little bit of an extended look at Mortal Kombat 11. I put up my first video about 2 years ago of my gameplay experience with it, and here we are 2 years later. I'm personally wrapping up the Aftermath story. I did play the original Mortal Kombat 11, for those first few months, non-stop. Beat the game story mode, played tons of multiplayer, enjoyed the crypt quite a bit, and in the last couple of years, continued to play as updates came along, new characters and so forth. And then when Aftermath came, played it, then I took a break, and then here we are several months later, actually, beating it. So I'm going to do that on my own time. Thank you for watching. Whether you see this game actually on Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo Switch, if you don't already have it, check it out. It's a good title. It does look better, and that is the truth, on Xbox One or Series X, S, and on PlayStation 4 or PS5. But if you are okay with the game still looking good, just not quite as good on those platforms, and also having that same luxury of having it on the go, playing it in portable mode on your Nintendo Switch, then this is the version that I recommend. But the higher fidelity definitely goes to Xbox or PlayStation, but still enjoying it quite a bit. You do lose some animations, or there are just no animations for that matter, when the characters face off in the versus mode select screen. Nintendo Switch, solid character. On PlayStation and Xbox, they move around. So you do get that. You don't get that, I should say, on this version. And the crypt does look considerably better. Like the main game itself, looks a bit better on the other systems, but the crypt is where, walking around in that 3D environment, much better. But take a couple of those things out of consideration, or even considering them, but then weighing in the fact that you're essentially getting two experiences on one, with Nintendo Switch being on TV and in portable mode. That's kind of up to you. What's worth it more? Better graphics, some animations when the characters are facing off in the character select screen, and a better looking crypt for when you're walking around. Or still a very solid, competent game, but also being able to be played portably, in addition to TV like the other two. But alright, that's just a little bit of a look today. I don't know who will find this useful, but I had fun talking and playing the game, I should say. And thanks for watching. Alrighty, PGN signing out. Bye.